Reunion. Hello, y'all. I was selling crack on a private jet up in the hell and back. But no confusion, this a reunion. Hello, y'all. Welcome back. Get murder here. He counting money. He said, "Cam, man, the hell with rap. I'm only here to shit on niggas and piss on bitches. Welcome, ass. I bought jewelry and bikes, nigga. Black Benzes and white Vigors. Now I'm out here and I'm looking for more chandeliers and light fixtures. Nah. I don't like niggas, what's wrong with me? I'm a hype nigga, but this 44 turn to Michael Jordan. I look and say, take flight, nigga.
Welcome back to It Is What It Is. This episode is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. The app is an easy way to make some cash just by making picks on your favorite players. Underdog is available in more than 30 states, including California, Texas, and New York, just to name a few. Make sure to support the show by hitting the link in the bio and downloading the Underdog Fantasy app. They'll also match your first deposit up to $100, and you get a special pick when you sign up. I'm Treasure Wilson, aka Stat Baby, along with your hosts, Mase and Cam.
Murder, what up, man?
Killer, what's good, man?
Shit, I'm good. How you doing? Back in
Good,
the building, huh?
man. Yeah, man.
Okay, neon green in it.
Yeah, I would say the Celtics, but it's too early for that.
That's not even the Celtics green. It's more like Oregon.
Yeah.
We'll go with that, too.
The Duck Box. It's almost that time of year. We're in spring training, pause. You going back with Colorado this year early?
I'll be there.
You'll be there?
I'll definitely
I'm just
be
checking.
there. I'll
just
be there.
checking.
I'll definitely be there. Coach Prime, Shador. A lot of niggas don't know Shador really got 2 more years because he got a COVID year too. So if we need to stick around even longer, then we'll stick around even longer because it ain't like we ain't getting money. It ain't like niggas ain't eating over there. Yeah. We'll
Getting Colorado money, huh?
Yeah, I can't wait, man. Shout out to I spoke to Coach Prime about 3 weeks ago, man.
Yeah, shout out to Coach Prime, man.
With Oregon Green?
Oregon Green, New York, Kermit the Frog, green with the orange. Niggas all over the place. What's new, though? Welcome to It Is What It Is. What's new?
Welcome to It Is What It Is.
Great. Okay, so let's start with Stephen A's contract. So it's up in July 2025, and his agency is currently renegotiating with ESPN. The reported deal is at $90 million over 5 years, which is an $18 million salary. Not to be pocket watching, but this is a big discussion right now. Some people are saying that $18 million a year is lowballing him. So what do you guys think? Is that enough? Is it not enough? And should he continue working at ESPN, or does he not need them? What do y'all think? Cam first.
Yeah, start with Cam. It's Cam's man.
It is my man. Pause. He was making $10 million a year previously, report says, so $18 million is almost double what he will be making. But I'm not sure. If I'm Stephen A. Smith, I see the landscape of what's going on because the last change since the last time he had a contract to his new contract. Sports is viewed very differently. Not saying linear television isn't still doing its thing, but a lot of people are very successful without linear television. And one thing about Stephen A. Smith works. He's there first take at 10 a.m. on Eastern time. Then after that, he does his podcast. And if need be, he'll be the preview before the NBA game. And then after the NBA game, he's reporting for Sports Center. He's doing other people. That nigga's a workaholic. So a lot of people could say what they want about Stephen A., negative. But when niggas outwork you, they outwork you. And that's just that. So to me, 18 is probably close to double what he was getting. But for all the shit that he be doing, it might be lowball. And not just that. He has to look at, and I already know, bro is already looking at this, how Pat McAfee did whatever he wanted to do before he got to ESPN and basically still doing whatever the fuck he wanted to do without penalty or consequence on ESPN. Pat McAfee actually is on the show and said, somebody up here is trying to sabotage the show. Blaming an ESPN employee. Why are you on ESPN? The nigga called Caitlin Clark a white bitch. It's all good. No problem for Pat. He could do what he wants. You think Stephen A. isn't seeing all this and not saying that Stephen A. wants to do what Pat McAfee is doing, but I'm pretty sure that he wants a little more leverage with money. Not saying he doesn't have leverage now, because he's obviously not just the talent on First Take, he's also an executive producer as well. So I can't answer what's lowballing him, but I know he works hard as shit. This nigga, if you look at his schedule during the NBA season, you gotta wonder if maybe he gets 4 or 5 hours sleep in between his commute to and from wherever he has to go. And he's always available. We were sitting in this studio right here. He happened to be walking past, didn't know that we was filming, came in here and sat down with us for 45 minutes, dropping jewels. Pause. So that's not for me to decide. I don't know what the annual income is at ESPN. But I know for one thing, that nigga's a workaholic. So if he wants more, I don't blame him. But then you got to think about also, how much money is he getting outside of ESPN? How much money is he making on his podcast? How much money is he showing up at places for appearances? You don't know what his side hustles are. So maybe he may be like, look, I'm grabbing X amount of dollars from here, X amount of dollars from there. I don't really need y'all ESPN. But to me, he's not leaving. I think he likes it. And his ratings are still number one on linear. So I don't see it. I don't see him leaving. But I don't have the exact answer if it's lowballing or not, because I don't know what his salary would take for all the shit that he does.
How much did, before I get into that, how much did Pat McAfee get?
85 million. But I think he just renegotiated it as well.
Yeah, so if Pat McAfee got 85, I mean...
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it is. 85 over 5 years.
85 over 5 years, and you think about... I mean, it's like selling houses, 2 household names. Stephen A is arguably the most famous person up at ESPN. And when you come with that kind of cachet, you have to get paid higher than the last person that got paid. It don't matter who it is, because whatever we could say about Pat McAfee, you have to compare it, because Stephen A is a person that put Paul's butts in the seats. If you're talking about people coming to watch the show, and when you think about just what he bring to the table, not just that, everywhere you go, like Cam said, whether it's at a fight, you didn't even bring up the fights. He had the fights, and not to mention the NBA Finals stuff he's doing outside of that. His popularity is growing. And a person like Stephen A, you got to pay. When it comes down to him and Pat McAfee, you got to pay, or you got to be willing to go in a whole new direction. So I think 90 million is cool, but if I was negotiating it, I'd probably get 120 for Stephen A. But he didn't ask me. If he was asking me, I'd get a 120. You would have to pay him 120.
He's probably, to me, that's a great point, because he has to work more than Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee is working 2 hours a day from sunny Miami on his own set, very comfortable, and does everything that he wants to do right from basically home. Stephen A is on the road. He's traveling. He's at games. He's in arenas.
Yeah, he got to wear suits. He got to do all that.
There's a lot of
stuff.
shit. So, yeah, I would want a little bit more now. We put that into perspective.
120 is the number.
And then even just to add a little bit more context, so he's not even the highest paid at ESPN. So first is Troy Aikman, then Joe Buck, then Pat McAfee. So he's at 18, then 15 with Stephen A making 12 million.
What's the first two?
Troy Aikman and then Joe Buck.
And then you got to think about it. Troy Aikman only working 20 weeks a year.
Complexion for the connection.
Oh,
just the good old boys.
Just the good old boys.
Just the good old boys, man.
I don't know how you explain that. Because it's not just about sports. Because if it was about cachet that translate from being a Hall of Famer, then all the other Hall of Famers would be making that much.
Well, I think they're making pretty close. Now, how much now let's do this. Tom Brady got a job doing that. What's his contract? And then we want to look at
not Tom Brady. Tom Brady number gonna be crazy.
They said 37 million or something. But listen, Tony Romo number is up there, and Tony Romo never won a championship.
That's true.
A Super Bowl. Tony Romo Tony Romo, to me, he's a better analyst than he was a quarterback, and he was a pretty decent quarterback. That nigga be calling shit before it happened. When I watch the games, I'm like, yo, this nigga knows what's about to happen. He really knows how to read defenses.
And then it boils down to when negotiating, it really boils down. Can I get a solo, Nick? I see every time I'm speaking, you're not giving me a solo. I don't know what's going on in the booth. You know, you still mad about something. Let me know, Nick, you know, because I don't have time for this early in the morning. You know, for all of you out there, that's Nick. He's from Queens. I'm from Harlem. You know, he's going through some things with the Knicks. We're going to get him on schedule. But like I was saying about the team, what was I saying? Nick, you just spun me around, Nick.
I don't know what you were saying. You wanted a solo and spun yourself out the picture, man.
You started saying complexion for the protection.
The complexion for the protection. Yeah, it's early in the morning. I haven't had my coffee.
You're off to a really good start, too.
Yeah. Nigga, that's what I'm doing. I'm working against a lot of people here. I got Cameron on this side. I got Nick in the booth. Status she's trying to stay close. But we was talking about, what was we talking about?
Well, we started talking about Tom Brady and his contract that he could negotiate more. Started thinking about Troy Aikman, Hall of Famers, Stephen A. in that mix.
Nigga checked out.
I'm trying to find where you were leaving off at.
I'm starting to get scared at this point, man. It's happening a little bit too much, man.
I mean, I'm scared,
man. You my friend. I'm scared. I'm scared.
I got a lot on my mind these days. I'm thinking about a lot of things.
I'm actually scared, man. I wouldn't be scared if you wasn't my friend. if you wasn't my friend, I wouldn't be scared. I'm starting to get scared. It's about the fourth time in a week and a half that we ended up here, man. We'll talk later. We'll talk a little later.
Well, we was talking about how he got to pay him more, and he got to get paid more. When you think about everything that he's doing, and we was talking about the different people that was making a lot of money, where it come down to all of these people. Back to you, Killer.
I was asking how much Tony Romo made, and
yeah, Tom Brady. The deal. I don't know if this is set, but it says next year Tom Brady's scheduled to take the spot with his 10-year, $375 million contract. I don't know exactly. Yeah,
I was the numbers I heard. 10 years, $375 million. So that's why I said. I said before you said $37 million a year. Tom Brady for 20 weeks, and then Tony Romo. I was asking you. That was the question. Y'all both spun yourself out to what we was really talking about.
Tony Romo is not worth more money than Brady.
We didn't say that. We're just reading contract.
The prices. His is $180 million for 10 years.
18 million, yeah.
Still more than Stephen A.
Yeah, so Stephen A is asking for the price that's Tony Romo. Well, not asking. That's what's on the table allegedly for the same price. Basically, Stephen A would take a month and a half off. So let's just say 47 weeks or 46 weeks of work as opposed to 20 weeks of work, just one day a week, really. Because all you got to do is be ready for Sunday. Time is obviously not money.
Okay.
What do you think makes the difference of that?
As far as what?
That's probably what I was running through my brain. That it made no sense. Like, how is he getting? I'm not counting his pocket, but if you're thinking comparables, do you think that Tony Romo knows that much more than Stephen A?
When it comes to football, yes.
Okay.
Tony Romo is a football, especially he's not doing basketball. He's not doing any soccer. He's not doing tennis.
Okay.
Football, yeah, but it's still only one day a week, regardless. Not saying he's not preparing himself during the week, but I'm talking about have to get up and go to work and be on camera. It's one day a week.
So his one day, that's what I'm getting at. His one day is worth Stephen A's 5 days?
That's Stephen A's agent. Now, if he need us, like you said, we there.
You got to reach out to me, Stephen
A. Because what you got to realize is this too, right?
That's why I was puzzled.
No, what I'm saying is this, right? And it's different shit for different reasons, but that's a great comparison. You have to think about Floyd Mayweather. And when I say Floyd Mayweather, because his biggest thing is, let's say Conor McGregor fight, just using that particular fight. He made $600 million in 30 minutes. The fight went 10 rounds. So you could use LeBron James' contract. You could put Patrick Mahomes' contract. You could put whoever the highest paid athlete it is, all the practice all the games, the possible injuries, year after year after year after year on a 5-year deal. Like, let's say Pat Mahomes, I think he got 10 years, like 500 something million. You still won't make what Floyd made for 30 minutes. And that's what you got to really think about. Is my time valuable to you? Even though it's two different, we're talking about two different sports. Somebody who announces or covers sports. So we're talking about a bunch of different things, but we talking about somebody's time.
Yeah.
We talking about my time is money. Floyd Mayweather is the champion of my time is money.
Yeah. And you're right. It goes back to your agency and whoever is making that decision for you. Because I would definitely, you definitely want to use other people's contracts and what's the compatible price in the market at this time. And the price at this time for Stephen A. would be like 120. No, it wouldn't be 90.
Even in football terms, that's why Trevor Lawrence was able to get his contract so high because of what has been happening in the league. So I got to ask y'all, so obviously you guys are both in agreement that Stephen A. should be able to get paid more, but do you guys think it's possible for him to become the highest paid talent or no?
And what's the highest paid?
Troy Aikman.
And how much a year?
That's at $18 million a year.
If he give him $19 million, he gonna be like, so yeah, it's definitely possible.
Yeah.
And then, as we know, JJ Redick is now the Lakers head coach.
Woo!
You a Lakers fan now?
Trolling. Ryan Garcia right now.
Okay. So at his press conference, he was asked about the misconceptions or concerns people had for him for being coach. He then responded, I really don't give a fuck. And that overall, he wants to be a great coach in the NBA and win championships. How do you guys feel like his press run is starting and thoughts on his response and becoming officially Lakers head coach?
I wish him the best. I think that comment as a start off comment just was not good. I mean, after you've seen sports over the years, you just know how the media works. They hold comments like that until something goes wrong, and they'll go right back to that comment and say, well, this was one of the first things he said as the head coach. So, I mean, I can't tell him what to do. I surely can't. I've never head coached before, but I have been slandered by the media, and I know how people hold on to just certain things until certain times. And I just certain things you want to stay away from, even if you got the complexion.
If the Lakers go on a 6-game losing streak, he's going to be on the front of the LA Times, and it's going to say he never gave a fuck. They going to use that for every time something go wrong. He don't give a fuck. See, niggas lose the first round. He never gave a fuck. Go back. He don't give a fuck. They gonna run with that.
Why are we even expecting anything? He told you he don't care. Oh my goodness.
Running with that the rest of the time. I think he did that though, basically to say, look, y'all hired me. We gonna do this the JJ Redick way. I'm not here to be any of the previous coaches. We gonna see if we can win off what I bring to the table. And that's the way I took what he said. He was in the middle. I watched the press conference, and it wasn't like he just bust us out, give a fuck. But he was in the middle of saying, people this and people that, but I don't give a fuck. It was real arrogant. It wasn't loud. It wasn't obnoxious. It was just mid-conversation, but people are gonna run with it.
It was arrogant?
JJ Redick arrogant, not like, yo, nigga, I don't give a fuck.
It wasn't Harlem arrogant.
Yeah, no, it wasn't no Harlem arrogant. It was more like
Princeton arrogant.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a surety.
yeah, exactly. So, look, I hope he does well. I was more murdered thinking about, of course I was thinking about they don't give a fuck because they're going to run with it anytime the media can run with it. But just to the point to where I would say, what is this? June? This June? I would say 18 months ago, if a Laker coach got up there and said that, they wouldn't even got the job.
Yeah.
Hold on, you can't call. They would have got fined off the back.
He might be running with the Pat McAfee.
I'm not, niggas running with the killer murder shit.
Yeah, I'm saying for them, it's the Pat McAfee.
It's for us too. They nigga, come on, bro. Nigga couldn't do this 18 months ago, bro.
Yeah, you can't lose being yourself, you know?
Yeah, so that's a few people figured that out, but a few people, to me, actually aren't even being themselves. Few people trying to make that into their self.
Yeah. And that's not your personality.
Exactly. And you could tell. And I'm not gonna say name, but you could be like, bro, we've been watching you for 15, 20 years. That's ain't
never
you.
Been you.
It's never been you, bro.
And you look like you're reaching.
Yeah, you look, and it looks corny.
Yeah.
It's like, a nigga it's like a nigga that's been wearing Air Ones forever. And nigga tries out Balenciagas and it just ain't right for him. Like, yo, my nigga, you've been there. I dig it. Don't. They look, you don't know how to rock them right. You know what I'm saying? If they never been in the $1,250, $1,500 sneaker range, $2,000, it may not be right on them. So sometimes that's how niggas be looking. I actually seen on your page, Larry, JJ's coaching
kids
career. It was his coaching career consists of coaching the 4th grade Brooklyn team and that Lakers.
Talk about a glow up.
Nigga went from 4th grade to the Lakers, nigga. That was crazy.
Nigga need to sit down with LeBron. Nigga, yo. You go from 4th grade to coaching the Lakers, anything can happen.
How long was you coaching? That's what I meant to ask. I meant to ask your son that.
That mean I could coach the Lakers.
Yeah.
Yeah, Killer spoke to my son this weekend.
Yeah,
he got on the phone. He said Little Uzi was his OG. He said Lil Uzi was his OG. And then he said Drake was like the what he said? The Migos was the double OGs. And Drake was the triple OG.
So I said to him, damn, Neff, but they might as well just put us in a museum, huh? Nigga said, nah, textbook. I said, a textbook?
He told Killer that textbook.
He said, a textbook, B. I said, yo. with the Nas cool.
He said, yeah, they got to learn from y'all. Y'all the textbook.
That was to make us feel better.
The lady was like, nah, you don't think your dad is good? He said, yeah, he's textbook.
Yeah, the Migos is the double OGs. At least I try to put us in a museum. That nigga said, open up the textbook.
Yeah,
that was
so
crazy.
He's the generation right after you that he said his textbook.
That's why I should ask him about your coaching. I didn't. That's the one thing I forgot to ask him about, man. Next time. But yeah, you definitely are qualified.
Yeah.
To coach the Lakers.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about Scottie Barnes. He is becoming the highest paid player in Raptors history with a 5-year Supermax deal worth up to $270 million. He'd also become the 5th highest paid player in the NBA if he hits his incentives and reach the full potential of $54 million a year. So what do you guys think of his extension and him being the highest paid player ever for the Raptors? Mase first.
I thought you were saying the highest paid player in the league. I'm like, nah, I don't know about that. And even when it comes to, I'm just a stickler for tradition. I think I'm learning that about myself. I think 270 is great for him. I want him to get his 270. I just pray that he lives up to the 270. Because every time somebody gets this money and they does well, it makes it easier for the next guy to get 310 and the next guy to get 330. But when people don't perform, let's say they get these extensions and they pull a what's the guy name that Killer was crucifying for the first 2 seasons? Ben Simmons. Like you get the money and pull a Ben Simmons and just go Balenciaga Ben, have a Marnie week, you know what I'm saying? Then it makes it bad for players. But I think he can do well and actually live up to this. I think he had a great year this year. I look forward to him having another better year next year. And if he keeps working on his game, he could be pretty promising. He actually plays both sides of the floor, and that's great.
It just goes to show that the NBA salary cap just keeps going
crazy.
up and it's getting wild, B. It's getting kind of crazy. And listen, the kid has some pretty decent numbers, but we have to put this into perspective. This is it's a $5 million difference of what Ant-Man just got. Ant-Man just got 275. We giving him 270. Now we giving out 270. Like, come on, shit getting a little ridiculous. No
but that's what we was talking about with Stephen A. You got no other niggas contracts, so you can get more.
I dig it, but this is like, I ain't gonna say nobody's name for niggas saying I'm trying to diss the analyst.
Yeah.
But Scottie cannot be like, well, Ant-Man got nah.
Yeah.
Nah, we ain't gonna do Ant-Man. And don't get me wrong, the niggas, he's shooting 47% from the field, average close to 20 points.
8 rebounds.
Yeah, I think 8 rebounds. He got tremendous, and they're looking at his upside. What is he? 21 years old, 22 years old?
1.5 steals and 1.3 blocks is a lot.
Yeah, listen, man.
That's really competing.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good, and you got to think about it. To me, my personal opinion is that's why they got rid of Siakam, because they had him.
Yeah.
And they was like, we got somebody that's up and coming. And, Pascal, appreciate your shit, but we ain't about to win a championship in the next couple of years. We're going to try and put you somewhere where you can win again, because they fuck with Pascal in Toronto. But I'm not mad at the numbers because of what's going on with the cap. But if we're comparing 2 similar contracts, is he $5 million less, just as good as Ant-Man, or is potential there?
Yeah, I think part of the contract is different, is that he's really guaranteed 225.
Mm-hmm.
But if he makes like all NBA, if he makes all NBA defense, then it gets him up to 270. And gotcha. I like that kind of contract because it's really paying to play. It's like if you ball out, then we're gonna give you those type of numbers. But right now, like currently he is at 225. He's not at 270.
And what I would say to that's great information, because what I would say to that is your agent sucks. They're giving you a football contract, nigga.
You thought he was getting a 270.
Yeah, but I'm saying at the end of the day, you should fire your agent, nigga, because who does that? This ain't football, nigga. I would have never went for that, even though I like that concept too, because it gives niggas the incentive to play. I'm not against it. But where they doing that at?
Yeah, I would have did 260 and had the incentives up to 300.
Yeah, I wouldn't have did no incentives because I'm like, I'm not going to be the start of the incentives. Niggas been getting their money.
I need
mine. Only other, it's other clauses. Don't get me wrong. Like, long time ago, Jay Will, if we get caught riding a motorcycle, you can't get your money. Zion got all type of clauses pertaining to his weight when it comes to shit like that. But niggas, I ain't hear this one yet, and I could be wrong. Like, you got to average 31 to get the number 10 million.
If you that's how they doing, niggas. They got that TV money.
But see, to be honest with you, it's almost like any given Sunday, or I'm pretty sure it happens in football all the time, when you have all these incentives, and nigga like, my man, I need this ball tonight. Yeah, this is good, dangerous. This could get dangerous. So niggas be like, yo, my man, my contract is up. You've been averaging 29 all week. I need to average 11 rebounds to get this money. And that could be
this week.
Yeah, and that could be potentially dangerous. So I'm not mad at this format, but this could cause some type of confusion sometime in the locker room. So we'll see what happens, but I'm not mad at that. What I will say is this, your agent must got a lot of football players with him, because This is
He
one of
gave
them.
you a football contract.
Yeah, you know, football niggas, 180 million, 110 guaranteed. Like, yo, what is that? My
Yeah.
nigga. And then you got to do all these incentives. Have you ever seen Any Given Sunday? You know, they were talking about how they need the ball to get this many yards and so on and so forth. And that's real shit.
Yeah.
Because I believe it's Travis Kelce, if I'm not mistaken. He was probably about 16 or 17 yards short. Don't quote me on it. It was something not that far, but he didn't play the last game. Yeah, Nick, give me a thumbs up. He didn't play the last game, and he could have got a mean bonus
Oh, yeah.
if he played that last game.
And he didn't.
And he didn't. But imagine, you know, he played like, I need this extra 2.6. Yo, give me 2 plays so I can grab that. And that'd be that. You know, like, I mean, you know, he's well off, obviously, because the average nigga been like, nah, I'm suiting up for 2 plays. I'm going to get 17 yards.
And that's what they basically telling them. If you make all NBA, we're going to give you Ant-Man numbers. If you make all defensive, we're going to give you Ant-Man numbers.
And don't get me wrong, I heard that that's happened before.
Mm-hmm.
If you make all NBA, then you definitely get incentives. I thought we was talking about points and rebounds and shit like that.
It's all NBA and all defense.
No, okay. Well, yeah, I heard that's happened several times. I'm thinking that you was talking about they got to have average 42% from 3 and all that type of shit. But yeah, that's definitely happened.
Because sometimes you
misunderstood.
Sometimes you asking for money and people like we just said, you ain't on Ant-Man level.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so if I get up to Ant-Man's level, then I want Ant-Man money.
Yeah,
that becomes
fair.
A good contract.
Absolutely. Now, don't get me wrong. Apologize to the agent. I misunderstood what Stat Red or what Mase was talking about. I thought they was basing this off of performance points, field goal percentage, free throw percentage, shit like that, not making all NBA teams because that's part of a lot of people's contract.
Okay, so we're going to go to break, and when we return, we got to talk about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Don't go anywhere.
She called this thing about toxic. 4 years and counting. Got you feeling like an option. Maybe I'm my own problem, babe. She tired of hearing I don't know. What's stubborn in me won't fall. Dealing with this thing called trust. But she really thinking about it. She wanna be free. Why am I here this woman wanna be free? Hell, I don't wanna see her walk away. I wish somebody told me the rules. Disagreements let her win, then it's cool. Even when I'm right, this ain't about.
Welcome back. Now let's get into our Underdog Fantasy picks of the day. So tonight, the Liberty will play the Lynx. Underdog Fantasy has Nafisa Collier at 32.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Do you have her higher or lower, Mase?
32 points, rebounds, and assists. This is a challenging one. I'm going to go higher.
Lower.
Kayla McBride is at 4 first quarter points. Do you have her higher or lower, Cam?
Higher.
Higher.
And Brianna Stewart is at 29 points and rebounds. Do you have her higher or lower, Mase?
20 what?
29 points and rebounds.
Lower.
How much?
29 points and rebounds. Brianna Stewart.
I'm going to go higher.
Hey, download the Underdog Fantasy app and you can make your picks too. So before we even get into Travis Kelce, because we've had a lot of talks about contract negotiations and all that stuff today. So apparently some NFL owners have discussed limiting contracts for quarterbacks. Do you guys think that there should be a limit on how high they can negotiate those contracts to be?
For quarterback?
Yeah.
Yes and no. The reason why I say yes is because a lot of times that the quarterbacks get paid so much that it doesn't leave enough money for the other players that are very intricate. Like, as an example, OJ would always speak on here about how the running backs don't really get paid. But the quarterbacks get like this great lump sum of money, and not that they shouldn't, but you want to leave room for the other important players on the team. And when I say yes and no, the reason why I say no is because of how important the quarterback is. You know what I'm saying? So you got both sides of the coin in that conversation when you're talking about, is a team going to win without a quarterback? Absolutely not. Most times, even if they got somebody managing the team, they got to be great at managing. We saw that in the playoffs, at least my first 2 seasons on here. As it is what it is, when it got to football, I recognize that the people that are playing quarterback, they're pretty much everything to that team. So that's why I say yes and no, because it's such a touchy situation that you don't want people thinking, well, we can't pay him, but you have to have a happy quarterback to win. If that quarterback is disgruntled in any way, he could sway the whole team because he's the captain of the ship.
What's the exact question, just so make sure I answer it correctly?
Yeah, basically, so some NFL owners have discussed limiting contracts for quarterbacks. Do you think that there should be a quarterback contract limit because of how high they've been able to negotiate for different people?
You mean as far as money's concerned?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sound like niggas hating in other positions, pause, man.
Sound like a lot of pocket watching this episode.
Yeah, like, yo. Like Mase said, Og would come up here and fight week after week after week after week and complain with everybody. You be like, yo, calm down. You gotta stop hating. Hey, another quarterback that's getting paid. I'm gonna miss I miss that nigga, man. But it's almost like Denzel in Training Day, man. He said, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. Go be a quarterback.
Go be a quarterback.
I know. Yo, listen, bro. Mase was making some great points. You're not going to win without a quarterback. OJ was the best player, and I know we're going back decades and decades now, in the NFL and won 2 games because they didn't have a quarterback. And he was the best player in the whole NFL. Rushed for over 2,000 yards and 14-game seasons, all type of shit, but won 2 games. You need a quarterback to win. And if you don't have a good, decent quarterback, or like Mase said, a game manager, you're not going to win. I think, I think personally, my opinion,
they got to pay him.
This started with the running backs having a secret meeting. Being like, yo, we got to do something. Let's talk to the next lowest paid niggas who not getting what they supposed to get. And you might talk to the right tackle. Yo, quarterback niggas getting way too much, right? What you think? Yo, let's take it to the players union. Listen, man, this is the way it been. Like, it ain't been nothing new, nigga. Dan Marino, Joe Theismann, Phil Simms, Joe Montana, Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman is making $18 million a year from originally being a fucking quarterback. Tom Brady, the list goes on. Aaron Rodgers, Ben Roethlisberger, the biggest stars in the league are the quarterbacks. So it is what it is. I don't think it should be a limit, especially if you're performing at a high level and doing what you're supposed to do. And I think everybody gets paid accordingly. Now, don't get me wrong. I think there's a very, very big miscarriage of justice being done to the running backs, especially that their career is probably the shortest career in the NFL because they take the most hits. So they don't have a long time, 9 out of 10 times playing that long, and then you're paying them the least. Junior Pop Warner, all that shit, start switching up now at 8, 9, 10 years old. Get out of that running back position. Pause. Start figuring out other shit to do. And I think it was, we had up here LaDainian. Who was up here with us? It wasn't LaDainian. I'm thinking LaDainian. It was AB and my other nigga from the Steelers stack.
Le'Veon Bell?
Le'Veon Bell. I said LaDainian. Le'Veon Bell. Sorry, Le'Veon, I'm getting the Mase shit that he's got that shit wearing on me. But yeah, I think I seen an article where he was saying that kids should start trying to play other positions because they're not getting paid where running backs should be getting paid. So that's something for you to look into. And I'm sorry for the running backs who's going through it now, but make sure your kids don't suffer.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting you say that. I wish O was here. I would be able to tell him this, that it is a conspiracy, because when you look back at it, from even a Pop Warner thing that you just brought up, in the South, they don't let predominantly black kids play quarterback. Like if you take your kid in the park, he's a running back. He's a wide receiver. The last position he gets is quarterback. It's almost like it's set up to say he's going to be the quarterback, even if he doesn't have the arm. And that's crazy. I mean, probably not in Miami, but if you was in Jacksonville, Florida, if you're in Georgia, in the north side of Georgia, Gwinnett, Cobb, anywhere other than MLK, you know what I'm saying? The quarterback is going to be a white kid, Killer. That's crazy.
Shout out to Calvin Russell. He's black and he's the number one quarterback in Southern Florida. So
Yeah.
Mase is, I can't speak for Northern Florida.
Yeah.
But Southern Florida, 6'5", my homegirl Nene's son,
Mm-hmm.
All-American in both sports, basketball and football. So shout out to Neve, shout out to Calvin. Looking forward to seeing you play football and basketball this upcoming season.
And yeah, shout out to him. And
Calvin Russell. Pardon me, Calvin Russell. I apologize, Calvin Russell.
See, making fun of me is getting on you.
Nah, because I was trying to just remember his name. He's still, the nigga's about to be a junior. He's not even about to be a senior. This nigga's number one for basketball and football in Southern Florida. So I don't know him as Calvin Russell. I know him as my nephew, Cal.
Yeah.
So pardon me, Murder. That's nephew, nigga.
The last player that was like that was Allen Iverson.
Yeah. I mean, to your knowledge.
Huh?
To your knowledge.
I'm talking about basketball and...
Yeah, to your knowledge.
Okay. Who else?
It's been a lot of players.
Who else?
Ant-Man played 3 sports.
No, you said top of the sport.
Yeah. Well, you mean first?
Yeah.
I'm not going to debate that with you. You might be right.
Yeah.
So Allen Iverson was number one in football too?
Allen Iverson was.
I would bet you $10 that he wasn't the number one player in football the year that he was number one in basketball. I would willing to bet.
You know I'm an expert. That's why you have me here, Killer.
I want you to be right.
Yeah, all right. Stat baby.
Yeah, I want you to be right.
Stat baby, go ahead and do what it do.
I'm hoping that you're right.
Come on, Stat. This is why they pay me the big bucks.
I think
this
that you was
freestyling. Stephen A. salary, huh?
When I made a point, I think you changed the word in the rant.
No, dude, you said
you
said he's
number
the top
one
in basketball and football.
He got some time.
Yeah.
While I searched that, quick little fun one. So Travis Kelce joined Taylor Swift on stage during her concert for the Eras Tour in London. He popped up in a top hat as a performer. How do you guys just in general feel about the continued Travis Kelce Taylor Swift hype and the Kelce's off season?
It must be going great. Like Killer said, he had the opportunity to get 2 more million and he's so in love, he didn't go back out to get his 2. I would have got my other 2 million, but that's another conversation. If he want to pop up with the hat, Killer, the hat he had on was worse than my purple one. So I don't know how to really think about this. Maybe you should tell us what you feel about it, Stat. The top hat. Pause.
I don't have a problem with the top hat. That's like the culture, like part of the costume. Like he can do that if he wants. I think me personally, at first, I feel like I was hating a little bit because it was just getting annoying when I wanted to watch football. But now, like, I think it's cute. I support it.
You feel like you were hating?
Yeah, because I didn't want to see that. I wanted to watch football. I was tired of seeing Taylor Swift and all that in between. But now I'm like, okay, it's cute. But granted, it's not football season right now. So I like seeing it. But when the season comes, I don't want to see the pan from Taylor to Travis to, like, I didn't want to keep seeing that.
You just want to see a good football
I just want to see a good football game. I'm tired of seeing Taylor Swift. If I want to go see Taylor Swift, I would have went to a concert. But now I like it.
You like it?
Yeah.
I like it because they're winning. When they're not winning, I think it's too much. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna be a bandwagon person and I love Titletown. We was Titletown before Taylor got here, and we appreciate her, add her into Titletown. But when they're not winning, I think it doesn't look right. So as long as they're winning, if they want to do a rodeo show, they can do that. If they want to do the country album together, they want to do flowers in the barn and all that. Do whatever you want, as long as you're winning. When you're not winning, it looks like a bit much. And I'm waiting for my answer because
I'm looking because
we need to settle this now.
Yeah, I'm still looking because
all you gotta do is look up as Allen Iverson.
To that extent, well, I was trying to see if there's other players that are even comparable, because to Allen Iverson's, impact, I have not found somebody, but they're putting out names like Garrett Wilson. He was a high prospect.
No, the question is, was he the number one football player?
Yeah.
Oh, exactly.
At the same time, he was the number one basketball player.
That's you're saying if there was other comparable players.
Anyway, what I like to know, Mase, is this. I'm not talking about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift in the middle of June. It's 108 degrees outside. What I'd rather talk about is this. What do you think?
He earned Associate Press High School Player of the Year award in both. Can you read that?
Yeah, it says he was Associated Press High School Player of the Year award in both football and basketball, and won the Division V AAA. But it doesn't say that he was the
Exactly.
That's what I'm trying to find. So he did have high accolades, but it didn't say that he was number one prospect.
He won the award, but was he number one?
He was the Player of the Year.
But that doesn't mean
you're number one, Mase.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, Mase, while y'all doing that, what do you think about Aaron Rodgers not showing up to mandatory minicamp? And not only that, I forget what position he played. Let me find out. Getting locked up for marijuana.
Aaron Rodgers?
I'm about to leave for the day in a few minutes, everybody.
That don't even sound right. That don't sound right.
Nobody's here.
It doesn't sound
for the
right.
show. He's so focused on trying to find if Allen Iverson is right
in
1981 that we can't keep up with the current events because he's wrong because he said Associated Press. Let me school everybody that was going on. Let me take the show over. Mase said that Allen Iverson was number one in football, basketball at the same time. I said there's been plenty of players like that. Then he said, I said number one. So I'm mistaken. I said that I didn't hear that. I did, but I wasn't paying attention. But his face told me he was lying. So now he needs to go on a scavenger hunt and find out what's going on. And I'm trying to move on other topics. But we're spending 8 minutes on this topic. So when I try and bring something else, they can't really find the stats or anything else when I'm trying to move on. So let me tell you what I think. I think it's fucked up that Aaron Rodgers hasn't shown up to minicamp because he wasn't there all last season. And then you have to get camaraderie with your team. Julius Edelman tried to throw him under the bus. Sometimes I think retired players got to chill out because Julius Edelman, as good as you was, you didn't have the career that Aaron Rodgers had, and Aaron Rodgers is still playing. And you might be younger than Aaron Rodgers. I don't know this for a fact. But I will say this, Aaron Rodgers, they're depending on you. I know you're older. I know you may not think it's necessary to be there in June, being that you have a few months left to the season. But when you're in New York, these are all the things that people panic about. You got hurt last year. You didn't play the whole year. Now you're missing mandatory camp because you had something personal to do, which people don't know. Now, people in New York may accept this if you tell them what the fuck you had to do. But when you start talking about I had a personal engagement, that's fucked up. Get your ass to camp, Aaron, because people in New York will be pissed off if something goes wrong again. Now, do you have the stats from Mase?
There's a TikTok, but that's not my verified source. There's a TikTok that says that he was the number one prospect, but when I'm looking at 1994, it was Hines Ward.
Oh,
so that's why I'm back and forth because I'm I don't have an exact correct source. And I like to have my things correct.
I'm not mad because it's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. No, I mean The way you're going about it is just unruly. You know what I'm saying? You don't want me to be right, but I'm right. And those that have a computer is going to know I'm right.
So show me on the computer. You told us.
Those that have a computer will tell you I'm right.
You said he won the award, but was he the number one player? We can't find him.
That's what I'm standing on what I said.
Right.
He was the number one basketball player and the number one football player in that state.
No, you didn't say that. Now you're changing it to that state.
What are we saying?
You said to that state?
We said he was the number one football player and basketball player.
Yeah.
Overall, state is probably true. I'm just trying to find. I'm going to go with you on
state.
That's what you said about. You said the guy was the number one player in South Florida, right? That's in South Florida. He's not the number one player in the whole country.
Right. But
so we're saying, I said the last person to do that was Allen Iverson.
But that don't mean he's even the number one player in the state. He's the number one player in South Florida. That's not the state. So I never said the state.
Well, then South Florida would be the city?
South Florida would be the region.
Okay, so in the region.
South Florida, Central Florida is Northern Florida.
So that would be equivalent to him
That's
being
definitely not equivalent.
The same one. In the region.
I think about it, I don't want to be wrong.
No, South Florida is not that big. I'm from Florida.
But what are you talking about? I never say he's the best in the state. I say he's the best in South Florida.
Yeah, and I said the last person to do that was Allen Iverson.
Okay, but then you change to the state. I'm giving Allen Iverson more props than Calvin because Calvin's just number one in South Florida. He's not number one in the state. But Murder, I'm gonna give you the $10 for the sake.
No, I don't want the $10.
No, I'm gonna give you the $10.
I don't want the $10. I just want stat to be quick on the stat.
It's just so
stat
no,
baby.
just to make this clear because I am stat baby for a reason and I don't want people questioning that. When you search it, you will see that there's an article that says Iverson was the number one quarterback in the class of 1994 ahead of Peyton Manning. But there's only one source. That's the problem. There's only one source who says this, and it's this guy who has a TikTok, and I do not know who this TikToker is. When I look through, that's what it says.
Hold the fuck on. You say, all right.
Iverson was crazy in high school.
Now I will make another bet.
He was crazy in high school.
I will make another bet, because you said the state, Peyton Manning wasn't in Virginia. I will make another bet that he wasn't a better quarterback than Peyton Manning. Is that another $10?
They said Iverson was. Let me give you my source now.
Why don't you just go to the high school
Iverson
top player in '94?
Was better in football than he was in basketball. That's what
Iverson said that as well.
Yeah.
But do you want to make a bet on another $10?
That he was better than
that
Peyton
he was
Manning?
Ranked higher than Peyton Manning
in high school?
Yes.
I don't want to make that
bet. For people that don't know, I'm just giving you an example. This is what happens on the corner on Lennox. But this would have lasted for 4 hours because niggas would have went off and did something else and came back and been like, did you find out? Did
you find out? That's what we was doing. I forgot we was on TV. You got to go to the rankings because
I did. And
he probably is higher now that I'm thinking about it.
So this is a news textbook. Back to the textbooks, a newspaper article.
Textbook.
So that's why I'm like, y'all got me deep. Like, this is not clean. People will read the article and be like, oh, no. Like, no, it doesn't say that when you keep going.
Somebody be on the internet with the answer in the morning.
Yeah.
They can, because this article says top recruits from 1994 when Peyton Manning came out of high school, according to Blue Chip Illustrated. Number one is this guy named Josh Booty, and Peyton Manning is at 11. So even as far as 1994 best freshman class, I mean, he's not here, but obviously Allen Iverson was a really good prospect. I just don't think that he was number one according to what I have found. It's probably debatable, but as far as records show, like Max Preps is not taking me back to 1994, so I'm not like seeing certain things. Y'all put me on the spot. I'm telling you what I see.
I don't
know these.
We don't need to see a stat. We're not on the spot for that.
I don't know these sources.
That was moving the goalposts. I was talking about current with incompatible with what the guy was. That's his nephew. That's all it was.
Okay. And then last thing before we wrap, we're going to hit a couple of these before we continue. So I did want to discuss trades that happened earlier in the season. Now versus then. And if you guys think it worked, this is going to be a continuation because we have time for about 2 today before we wrap. But the first one is obviously the Mavs getting PJ Washington from the Hornets. Do you guys feel like that was a beneficial trade, and did it work for the Mavs?
I think that's one of the better trades of all of the list of trades that we're talking about here that I'm seeing on my list.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you talk about Buddy Hield, whether you talk about Gordon Hayward, we talked about that. I believe it's right there with Dennis Schroeder from the Raptors. I would go, if I had to put these in order, PJ Washington was definitely a great trade because it turned this Mavs team into a whole different team. It was
the whole thing is real quick, Mase, just say the list because so that the audience, they can't see your list.
So the Mavs traded for PJ Washington from the Hornets. You got the 76ers who got Buddy Hield. OKC who got from the Hornets also Gordon Hayward. And then the Nets acquired Dennis Schroeder from the Raptors. And our guy, Pat Bev, he got traded to the Bucks. And it's still more.
Yeah, we're gonna hit the other half as a continuation, but I did just want to go through.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in that first list, I think PJ Washington was an excellent trade and an excellent acquire because, like I said, it changed that entire Dallas team. It began to highlight their backcourt and took the pressure off them to be anything but a backcourt because of what he was able to do. For me, that's what I saw with that. With his defense and the way he was able to score balls inside and outside was a major upgrade for that team. Even though they couldn't find an answer for Porzingis, it doesn't take away that this was a great trade.
You can read the list that to the audience that Mase is talking about so they have the people that were, just so they could hear it again.
Yeah, so we'll just hit the first three. So the Mavs got PJ Washington from the Hornets. The 76ers got Buddy Hield, and OKC added Gordon Hayward from the Hornets. So basically out of those three, I feel like it's an easy answer. Who do you feel like had the best trade?
Yeah, I think PJ Washington was the best trade for the Mavericks. Buddy Hield, I would have thought would be a better trade, but he just, for some reason, he didn't show up this year. I was really thinking that was going to be a good trade.
PJ Washington, they went to the championship. And who's the other people?
We got Gordon Hayward, and then 76ers getting Buddy Hield.
And Gordon Hayward just fell off the map. He got so bad his wife was begging to get him in a game.
Yeah, that's a fact. Outside of PJ Washington, which whatever to that too, Porzingis is the winner of the trade. Everybody, all these people we talking about lost. Y'all lost. Boston couldn't get it done. Porzingis is part of them helping them getting done. Porzingis won the trade shit from last year. Now PJ Washington, I think him, Gafford, those two, especially at the deadline, getting Gafford was a big asset to Dallas, and PJ Washington contributed heavily into the championship. You want to know who won the trade shit this offseason? Boston. Drew Holiday.
Yep.
Porzingis. Championship. Ding, 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 ding. Yep. They won. Everybody else, Dennis Schroeder. I ain't hear about Dennis Schroeder since the Lakers when he won. The nigga Buddy Hield, to be honest with you, he ain't really been popping lately neither. Like, that nigga been quiet. We gotta go to Titletown. We have to go to Titletown, and those trades were spectacular, especially Drew Holiday. Because,
for Marcus Smart, that was great.
Because at the end of the day, the Bucks I'm talking about, not necessarily the moves that Brad Stevens and the Celtics pulled off, but the Bucks, they probably are more hurt than anybody because they're saying, it's nothing worse than when a team comes back and has to beat you, even though they didn't play each other in the playoffs, and beat you with the niggas you traded to them. So, pause. So, Boston was, pardon me, the Milwaukee Bucks were thinking, we gonna put him on the West Coast and put him with Portland so we ain't gotta even worry about this nigga. And Brad Stevens and the rest of the staff over there said, oh no, you don't. We right back in the mix of things on the East Coast. And now, Drew Holiday has more titles than Giannis. Let's take that into consideration.
A big consideration. Okay, y'all. Well, that is all the time that we have for today. Thanks for watching. And as always, it is what it is.
What you want, nigga? Everything, nigga, super size. Two Big Macs. Like when they doing them 2 for $5.